at the deliberative session.
2 years ago, we weren't even in the loop once CIP passed our project on the finance committee.
Yeah.
We didn't know it was gonna be on the ballot. Like, we didn't, so there wasn't
we
even
couldn't even go.
prep time at that point, and I completely agree. And I think Facebook, social media would be 100% a perfect place
If
to
it's
educate.
allowed. That I don't know. That would
Well,
have to-
anybody personally can, so Denise can,
Yes.
that group can, we can.
I
if
don't
we-
know if it can be done on the where part.
No, no,
That's
maybe
the only
not.
thing I would
That's a good question
We
to
can
ask.
say, it's coming up, and these are the reasons PARC
If-
supports it.
I feel, or I feel like the exact wording that's given to CIP that's approved, you know what I mean? Something where it's like exact copy factual. You know, that kind of thing where we're not putting our own opinion in, this was what was asked, this is why, that kind of thing. And that should be, even if I don't know how the Where actual website does as far as information on the articles. I'm not sure if they expand information in the articles on the website.
Typically, they don't.
I know there's the booklet that we get in the mail, and that's 5 sentences. So, okay,
And
But-
finance usually puts out their own.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just my 2 cents. We're still early in the process, but
I really honestly feel that, I know what we've asked for in the past, and it's not been approved. We focused on Bolton for a long time. I remember as a voter looking at the pavilion plan, and you didn't really see the plan, you just heard about a pavilion, and there was a $60,000 ticket on it. And you were just like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
there's no substance behind it.
Right, I don't understand, because there wasn't any information. And I remember, I think that was on the ballot twice in a row. And,
3-4 years ago, I think.
yes,
Yep.
and not passing. And I can see why. I didn't understand that it was like a permanent concrete structure, it was the posts, it was the buildings, it was like the whole thing, like as if you went to a state park, or what Chase Park has, only on such a grander schedule, meaning this could be more than just a ball field. This could be a place where you choose to go and have big picnics or barbecues or family gatherings, something more community-wise. But there wasn't any information with that.
And maybe, it's thinking outside the box. Say tennis courts is the route we're gonna go this year. Maybe do a video in conjunction with the cable committee. Do a video tour over there. Have it put on the YouTube and have it put on the Ware cable page.
And show what the
This is
tennis
what we're
courts look
trying
like.
to,
Yeah.
this
I
is what
agree,
we're trying
that'd
to
be-
address this year. And then maybe hold an informational session like they did with the highway garage that they finally got passed. Again, it's going back to educating the voters. If you guys are
Yeah, and that
serious
took-
and you want the best chance, as you know, Parks is usually the low man on the totem pole for any money. You gotta fight for it. Prove to the voters why you want it, and other than that 2-sentence blurb.
Well, not for nothing, but we have people that are going down there and using it quite a bit. They've been in here trying, they're trying really hard. So it's not
But they're
us
pitching it-
pushing for it. It's community members who are going, hey, we're down here, we're using this, we're trying to
One more
improve it.
community member than that's fighting for anything else.
That's right.
But the problem is they're not the ones asking for the warrant. You guys are.
Yeah.
Right.
So
But we actually have a topic where there's feedback from the community. We've had a little bit of feedback from the community with Bolton, with needing a shade structure, with needing the playground upgraded, and that's been a little bit of feedback. It's been a while since we've had public. The Lego team comes in and talks about cleaning up, and we see that. No, I completely agree, 100% on the advertising. Basically, you're advertising, you're selling it, and that's how I felt
And we're gonna lose it.
before
That doesn't-
before last year when we were giving out our spiel for the fields and understanding how the process worked and everything. And then when it changed with WAC putting their spin on it, we chose to withdraw ours so we didn't compete. And but that was
Does the WAC
Completely
change
different.
theirs for soccer versus softball? For Einstein, for example?
did they change what?
The
do you mean?
sponsors. Do they take down the sponsor? Okay, is it the same sponsors? You get it for the year?
It's a
Or-
season.
Or is it season? So,
per
okay,
season.
so you have soccer, and you have,
Why do you
Softball.
ask?
I think they try to do it so that the same sponsor is at the same field. So like,
but
if-
as a sponsor, I would have to pay twice. So
Mm-hmm.
I would have to pay, say, whatever it is, the $600 or whatever you said it was for soccer season, and I have to pay the $600 for softball season.
they also have multi-season package too.
But why do you ask?
No, so you start looking as, okay, if we're gonna get somebody who's gonna go out and do the sponsors on it, this would be a permanent year, basically April through November or December, so they've got lots of.
Season.
I don't
they
know
have
if-
lots of time to have a sign up, and basically they could have it up, or we say, hey, look,
I would just make it annual. Only reason I say that is this past year we had nothing for snow. That tennis court probably could have been used most of the year.
I don't know if we're even able to do a sponsor situation like that.
That
WAC takes sponsors specifically for paying the referees, for the equipment, for the shirts. It's not field maintenance or anything like that. It's not going towards what the town owns. It's going completely towards what WAC owns. So I'm thinking sponsorship holds hands with fundraising. I could be
Well, the
completely
other-
wrong, but that's,
A good
Yeah.
question to ask.
The
My
other thing about
assumption.
sponsoring for, I mean, it still, I think it still could go to that if you want to have, if you have a fund, it's going to take a long time to build that up. The other thing is with WAC, when you have a soccer game on Inison, first off, you don't just ever have one, well, unless it's the big kids, but usually you have two games happening at once. So you have.
a lot more people seeing the
Yeah,
signs, a
you've
lot more
got,
exposure.
you've got, 40 families there plus, plus more. So,
Yes, but now we have everybody at the VFW, we have everybody that's going to the Historic Society, we have everybody that's going to the library.
Yeah.
There's more visibility
There
where we
is.
are too. But,
but that would have to be on the outside of
the other thing is
double-sided sign.
There you go.
can we go to major is it something that we could go to a major company such as like Granite State Telephone and say, hey, look,
We're not allowed to fundraise.
but can they name, if they gave a donation, would they be able to say, hey, this is Granite State Tennis Court? Is that something? that's
Naming
even-
rights.
What?
Naming rights.
We're gonna
Naming-
sell
yeah,
the naming
bas-
rights.
Selling the naming rights to the
That-
tennis
Naming,
court.
naming
I
rights
think
to the tennis courts. Is that
These
something? that you
ideas
could-
all come back to PARC having a separate budget and being allowed to fundraise into
Well,
its own account.
you mentioned putting it into the fund. We don't have a fund.
I know, we don't have a
Right.
fund.
So
I-
if
I
we
just
choose a
didn't even know if that's
CIP
something
project, it has to
Can
go.
we even do something like that?
So it goes back to the idea that I brought up is creating a revolving fund for the park. And with the funding to come from income from Chase Park or whatever. And then you would have to also decide, what is the intent of this fund? Is it to offset tax money? Or is it to improve park properties?
Both.
Okay. So-
Because you can't make improvements to properties without, if you make an improvement to the property that's helping helping the tax base without using taxpayer funds.
I heard one, what was the other one? I heard improvements. What was the other one?
Both improvements and to offset the taxpayer
Burden.
burden
Just
and,
for
or to
general
improve.
operating.
But we can't general operate a tennis court without a tennis court, and right now we're looking at not having a tennis court.
And this is the other thing that happens is that we have these things, but we don't have any way to maintain them. And then when
Yeah.
it gets to the point where
Well, you can have more than one warrant article, and this one has, to my knowledge, will have zero effect on the tax base. So,
Wait a minute. This tennis court?
He mean, no,
CIP?
not the tennis court one, he's talking about
Oh, the
asking-
revolving
revolving
fund.
You can have multiple. So you can ask for
Well,
that, plus you can ask for.
It's a good question because,
Highway has multiple.
right, no, I understand the multiple questions on the ballot. The revolving fund, so, I mean, the money has to come from somewhere, and at this moment, it would be Chase Park.
Could be Chase
And
Park.
right now, because that's all we would be set up for even accepting any money as where Parks and
Well,
Recs.
so where does the money that goes to field rental go?
We don't
So
have
we're not
field
allowed
rental.
to charge money for field rental because we're not allowed to have anybody from out of town. That was scratched off
What if they're
completely.
in town? You give them
We don't
free.
charge money.
We don't
It's
charge
in- It's zero charge. That's how it was voted. So the only money
But
we
certain
see,
groups help maintain those fields.
Yeah, they do.
yeah, but we don't see money.
We don't
But
see money,
The
but
only
they-
money we see is Chase Park. Chase Park does not make enough to even sustain itself. So there would be taxpayer implications if this revolving fund existed, and it wasn't enough to,
It wouldn't be
do our
enough to
budget.
pay, it wouldn't be enough to make it self-sustaining, but it would be enough to offset tax, offset.
right,
Yep.
right, offset, yes, not,
So that
And the
goes
money
back-
doesn't go back into the general fund, it goes to Parks and Rec.
So that goes back, what is the intent of the revolving fund? What do you want it to be?
right.
To offset funds or for improvements?
Improvements.
It does both though.
No, he's saying you could pick both, or you could pick one. What is it, what do you want it to do? That's what he's asking.
Yeah, do you want it to be specifically for improvements? Do you want it to be specifically for offsetting? Or do you want it just, it's a
For-
general slush fund? What do you want?
I think
It's gonna
Park-
do both.
it needs a general slush fund so that when we have, you know,
Yeah.
we have to buy
tennis
the no-wake buoys, or we have to put cash out for something, we have the money there, we don't have to go back to the Board of Selectmen and beg for it.
But if you have it for improvements, so that you don't have to, so then you just have your normal maintenance budget, which we have a maintenance budget in there. But it, improvement, okay, we're gonna improve the sprinkler system at Bolton, which means we're gonna go through, we're gonna change out all the sprinkler heads. An improvement, that's almost an improvement, and technically could be
hearing-
part of maintenance, where you're improving the system, so you're no longer having to pay maintenance to fix an outdated system. You've improved the system, you've made it
I'm hearing
better.
what Dave's saying. It's kind of the fact of if you say, this is for everything, meaning we can pick and choose or do all the above. If this is all we get, you don't get a revolving fund and a budget unless budget's specifically for general operating and then the revolving specifically for improvements. Would you lose the budget? Now you have no money for anything because your revolving fund is, I have no idea how that even works. Do you have, do you have budget and general? That's kind of why you almost have to pick,
No, your budget would stay,
your budget would stay. This would be additional to budget.
correct.
Okay.
To be funded from Chase Park. Now, the problem is you pay your employees out of Chase Park income money. So where's that money gonna go? How are you gonna pay out of that? So that means you'd have to have a line item in your budget to pay for the employees.
Which we do.
Which we have a line
A
item.
wages line item.
Yep, but now that's going to increase the tax burden, because now you're taking all your income from Chase and putting it into this fund that's specific for improvements.
Well, that's assuming that you could think that, if you chose to categorize it specifically for improvements.
Correct.
So you
That's
wouldn't
assuming that
be,
you're actually making money.
no, he's saying that
Oh,
the
that's-
budget pays for everything. So when we charge a ticket, that's 100% ours
Yeah.
profit, if you will, because it doesn't go to any operating costs. He's saying if you looked at it that way, only the improvements. And it wouldn't be offsetting any tax burden at all, because the taxpayers would still be paying the Parks and Rec's budget the way they did the year before.
Yeah.
But we would be able to collect money from the park, and when someone came into Chase Park and bought their ticket, we would be able to say, hey, we have enough now. We can fix the tennis court. We have enough now. We can upgrade the irrigation. So it'd only be that, which seems to make a little bit more sense. I see both sides of it.
But either way, if you decide to do it, you're gonna have to look at the finances, both sides. How much money do you bring in on average a year? Take this year out of it, because this year was just screwed up with coronavirus. What are the last 5 years, how much money did you bring in and how much did you expend? And see what the offset's gonna be. So if all your money came in, say $10,000 came in from Chase Park, that would normally go back into the general fund to pay for Chase Park employees, whatever, and then whatever's left over, whatever. You take that 10,000, what's the tax increase gonna be to the taxpayer? Because as you said, the money that we're making already, if that doesn't even pay for the employees, then what's the point of having the revolving fund?
Right. In
If you're
2019,
just gonna spend it all just on employees, that's gonna be a problem.
we made about 20,000 at the park, and we spent around 55,000 as Parks and Recs.
That's total. doing it to put back into to put into its own fund to pay for everything, including that.
That's what I'm saying, is you wouldn't
So you'd
be
have to
able
say
to.
it's for improvements.
Right, you wouldn't be able to give up we couldn't give up our budget
Yeah.
and work on just that. It's not an option, so it'd have to be extra. It still doesn't,
There would be a tax increase to the taxpayers.
how would it increase if what they pay for our budget doesn't change? Where would the increase be?
Because it doesn't go back into the general
It's,
fund.
so right now, the money you bring in at Chase Park
Is offset,
is offsetting.
I understand, as the balloon of the general fund. I understand what you're saying, that makes sense.
So you have to.
So it'd be a
figure out where
$20,000 annual increase hypothetically.
that- Yeah. And that's something that the finance committee is going to focus in on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why somebody needs to be there at the finance committee
It's
to let them
gonna be a
know.
battle. It's doable, but it's gonna be a battle.
What is the-
Recent examples of one that was put into place is transfer station. Put in a revolving fund for, I don't know if it was specifically for tires, but I think it was waste removal. I don't know if it was demo, or if it was just specifically tires or something like that.
Metal or something.
Yeah. They take in money and it pays for it to go out as, I believe that's how it works, don't quote me on that, but that was the most recent revolving fund that got approved, I believe.
So I don't even think, the Board of Selectmen, I don't know how many revolving funds are available. Like, for example, every year there's something on the ballot for fixing this building, so I don't even believe that there's a revolving fund for just, you wouldn't even call it, it's maintenance, it's not even
Yeah.
Building maintenance
improvements.
has a budget line, has a line item, but that's used for all the government buildings. Anytime we want to do a repair to town hall, that has to go before the voters. If they say no, then no means no, we can't touch it. Doesn't matter if you come up and give me $1 million, I can't touch it because the voters said no.
Crazy.
I think John has a point about putting that on the, so how do we, about at least going to CIP and asking that to be on the ballot.
About a revolving fund
Revolving fund.
for improvements. CIP approved that, it's not a capital improvement program. Was it go right to the finance committee?
Check with Naomi. I'm not sure what
Who?
the table is for that. I'm not sure how that works.
Can you check with Naomi?
I will.
I have very little bandwidth left.
I'm not gonna ask her right now.
I know. I'm just saying
Would
just
we
need
be
a
able
break.
to ask if we were doing if we were doing a specific fundraising drive for the tennis court repair, would we be able to do a fundraising drive just for that? Like, not a revolving fund and not adding to our budget and not increasing the tax burden, but could we ask for permission? This is what we want to do. We understand that, we're asking for CIP and we're getting a contribution from the MS Lawyer Trust, but in addition to that,
I think it would have to be an outside source outside from PARC doing the fundraising and then
Yeah.
donate it to the town, just the way that historical did for the gazebo.
Because revolving fund or not, we can't fundraise. I don't think it's, if we had a revolving fund, can we
They can
fundraise to the
fundraise
revolving?
it.
Right, I don't think, even if we had a revolving fund specifically for improvements, I don't think that allows us to fundraise for the revolving fund. I think that's your question.
I don't know what that answer.
A lot of parks and, yeah.
But if a separate entity was to fundraise and then make a donation
To the tennis court.
to the tennis court, selectmen at that point could approve it or not.
Should have told Denise she needed a GoFundMe page. Forget the bake
I
sale.
actually, I was just thinking the same thing.
Something
We need a
bigger.
GoFundMe. She needs a GoFundMe.
So back to one of John's more original questions. What, and this is an individual question, what do I want from CIP? And my question isn't really an answer for what I want from CIP today. It's kind of a 10-year plan to me. I want every facility that we oversee to have some type of improvement. Each one of them needs something. And obviously, I'm not gonna put 5 or 6 things on the ballot, but it would be a matter of, to me, you know, I feel the tennis court should not be ignored because I do see community involvement. There's no community involvement in anything else currently right now, really, talking to us and being out there involved. And so I do personally see the tennis court as being something this year to talk to for CIP. And in the future, I would, even if it fails, I would look at something different. Well, it depends if the tennis court gets horrifically bad. I don't think I can choose one facility. I guess that's my point.
So then maybe something that parks ought to consider is master plan. What is your 10-year plan? And write it out.
That was brought up to us
It
last year. I don't know who does the master plan, if they reach out to
So
us. I don't know how it works.
The town master plan is run by the planning board. And by RSA statute, it's supposed to be updated every 10 years. However, it's
Think it's-
severely defined.
I was gonna say, I think it's coming up, right?
No, it came up like 10 or 15 years ago.
So it should be
It's very old. And it's done in conjunction with Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission. So, doesn't mean Park can't put together their own master plan for park properties.
But what good
Southern
does it
New
do?
Hampshire Planning Commission?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What good does it do?
Yeah.
So if CIP or finance or anybody else can, what is your plan?
They see we have our ducks in a row. They see we're not willy-nilly picking from a hat.
We don't need
choosing
to, yeah.
Well, we have been, because we don't have a plan.
Yeah, we don't have a plan, but everything we ask for gets voted down,
Because you don't
so.
have a plan.
But it's not because we don't have a plan, it's because,
But we don't have a defined plan. We're just, to the voters, it looks like we're just throwing darts at a
spitballing.
board.
It
Yeah.
could. It probably isn't
Not
because
that.
we don't
That's
have a
not what
plan.
has been
But
happening,
if
but-
Parks and Recs had a master plan, that is something, and it's probably has to be adopted by the Board of Selectmen, I would imagine. No?
No, it's something you guys could do in-house.
That's something we could post on Facebook. That's something we'd advertise. That's something we
Yeah.
could brag about. It's something we could have, something we could refer back to.
And even if you don't call it a master plan, this is our 10-year plan
Vision.
for maintenance. Let's
Yeah.
do an evaluation of Barrington, of Bolton, of Inison, of all the other park properties, and identify what needs to be done. And put that together in a good, better, best, or red, white, or red, yellow, green, or some form of prioritization.
Yeah, just like CIP specifically has you categorize urgent, committed, necessary, desirable, deferrable.
Correct.
Like there's ranking.
And I know spitballing isn't what we're doing, but the thing is, that's what a lot of the taxpayers are seeing. Because either they're uneducated in terms of what Park wants, or it's just not being communicated well.
And they see us jumping all over the place
yeah.
So,
instead of being
But-
proactive.
yeah, put together a plan. Maybe that's a good project for this winter. I don't know what Park Commission does during the winter in terms of their meetings.
A lot.
No, we do still monthly meet. We do still monthly meet. And it's just a matter of what did we do wrong, what can we do better, and start planning. It's not as heavy. I mean, we don't have as many
Yeah, we don't
issues
have-
to address because of the actual fields outside, but definitely that. And I've also wanted to look into the bylaws for another thing that we don't, if we have them, nobody knows where they are, including Naomi. So it's something that we'd like
So
to.
maybe an idea, if everybody on the committee wants to do this, is write down a list of all the facilities that Park oversees,
They're on the top of your agenda in case anybody's curious the names of them.
and have a meeting. Have a site walk at every single one. And everybody goes there and we all identify items that need either repair, replace, touch up.
I kind of thought doing one particular park each month was kind of one idea versus you're thinking just one meeting at every single place. It just seems like
Well, I mean, how many parks you got? You got,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
okay, so you're talking
Oh,
over.
7 if you include the gazebo field.
Okay, so that's 7, you're talking over 7 months now, that's half the year. Why not just do one every 2 weeks? You're talking, what, half hour to an hour meeting at a site walk? Do it
I
on-
figured even we could just meet there for the first 30 minutes and then come over.
Yeah. Or do it on a Saturday.
I didn't put
Tackle 2 or
gazebo
3.
field. Oh, town center. I could put a comma between town center and skate park.
Yes, there you go.
So that's the other thing that was brought up this past, glad you brought up skate park. That was brought up this past year on Facebook.
Only on social media. No one person reached out to me
But no
two
one
times
came.
with
Nobody bothered to
with an
come here.
email. I would like to be there. I can't be there. I'll give a proposal. So I don't actually feel that was, they didn't come. I mean, myself,
I don't buy that because.
Well, no, we
because-
even approved funds for it last year, but no one ever came to say, okay, here's what I can do to build it. We even approved funds.
Yeah, they all
Yeah.
talked about it on Facebook and then they dropped it.
but no, I want to hear what John was saying about,
Because they didn't come here doesn't mean it's not important to people.
I kind of disagree with you. When I really took it on my big, huge mission back on it being town only, you have to prioritize. You really do. Whether that means changing your schedule, doing 50% of this research in here is from those days for me, before I was even on the board. And that's, I went out for petitions and signatures and drove around, and so it wasn't enough of a priority, honestly. And that's why we're here, because we have to prioritize it, because we realize the community does have other things and it's not their thing. But when I see Denise giving every month, every phone call, every inspection, every photograph,
Email,
I've
email,
gotten,
emails.
I have, yeah, this is just the last 4 emails from her.
When somebody calls you on the phone, it doesn't have as much weight as somebody who comes in and sits here. And I
We
think
haven't
that-
had anybody call on the phone either.
It
But-
doesn't matter. They call you on the phone, they send you an email, or they put it on Facebook. It's
But
still-
then
It
they don't follow
depends
through.
what they're saying. That is a big, you can call me
Oh,
on the phone, you can talk about everything.
But there was a lot of interest and it fizzled out. If we don't follow up on it, then we're just as bad.
We've already tried. We've gone over that skate park last year before you were here.
Mhm.
We had a lot of skate park discussions and we never got anybody from the community here either.
Come
So-
say, hey, look,
None of us have,
It has to be action.
knowledge
If
to
you
do
call me
anything.
up on the phone and you talk, that's absolutely wonderful. But there has to be, whether it's a commitment to, I want this to happen, or is this feasible? And it doesn't have to be in person. It can be by email, it can be by phone. It has to be concrete. Whether it has numbers or reasons or volunteer or something, a time and a place.
How you're gonna help.
Something like that. Whereas
So
I'm
is
getting
that-
numbers,
the
I'm
only
getting.
thing I would caution you about then is, what you said before, is if you're gonna do this social media blitz, you don't trust, you don't put faith in people posting on social media, but now you're gonna, it's kind of a hypocritical.
No,
No,
that's
no.
very different.
No, I agree with you. I don't put faith in what was said on social media. I read every 378 posts from the different pages.
There was a lot.
Nothing concrete. No one said, I'm gonna be there Saturday at 7:30 and I'm gonna clean up the mess. I'm coming with this much metal. It was, oh, you should do that. We should do this works better. It was a lot of brainstorming, and brainstorming is insanely important.
There were some people.
There has to be something concrete.
Nobody who actually said they were gonna.
I'll help. One person specifically emailed me and said, I'll spearhead it and I'll get a proposal. That's all that was said.
Have you followed up?
She
with them?
emailed me twice.
Okay.
Yes, and the last time she said, I will send you a proposal.
Okay.
And that's the last thing she said. So I feel that Facebook can absolutely 100% be a really great way to get a concrete, we would use it concrete. We're doing this with this much money in this place at this date. None of that was said. It was great brainstorming ideas, which is insanely important. You have to start somewhere. People were on there with lots of experience, and it's something that if next year we decide to go through the skate park and we want to go back to those posts and reach out to people that specifically said, I have experience in this, and ask them to meet us at the park and tell us, what do we have to do? I don't think there's skate park company, there probably are skate park
Probably
companies
are.
out there. There probably are. At this point, there probably are. If we have some guy called Mr. Balls that will wash our playground equipment,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's skate park people out there.
Yeah.
So, and that's from the town standpoint, what Randy had talked about being passed. It's hard when the community comes in and says, I want to volunteer, because it has to be coordinated.
And there's no one to be the leader. None of us have experience building a skate park.
Right, so you almost unfortunately kind of have to go the professional route because you're guaranteeing, there's a guarantee.
Yep.
And if
Well,
you're
you're
gonna go the
also
professional route, you
guaranteeing
wanna have a
safety,
commitment.
too.
That's, the guarantee is safety,
Yeah.
showing up, it's gonna be done. Versus a whole band of 12 volunteers that are awesome and that come 2 Saturdays in a row and they never come the 3rd or 4th Saturday and our
To my
materials are half
knowledge-
done.
To my
So,
knowledge, we had one volunteer that showed up at the skate park.
when was that? Oh, for like a cleanup, that
For
person
cleanup.
took it upon, oh no, that was Parks and Recs last year. Did we do a cleanup, Parks and Recs and
We
something
had,
came?
we had one person who showed up at the skate park to
When?
volunteer after that Facebook blow up.
Last year,
No, a few weeks ago. And that was my daughter. And that is the only person
Okay.
who went down there and did anything,
okay.
who was not otherwise committed to do something.
Okay, I didn't know, was there like a date and a time set up for people to come? Oh, okay, no, because
But I'm just saying, we had one volunteer and it was Eva.
okay, because I've seen in the past where, that, let's make Bolton Park family friendly again. They actually came up, it wasn't family friendly, but let's clean up Bolton Park.
Yeah.
And they actually started a Facebook group, and they actually started a fund, nonprofit at TD Bank, and they met one time for a cleanup.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was what they did, and it was great. It was wonderful. We've done the spreading the chips. It was before me, but respreading all the chips. Asked for community to help, and I do believe when a date and a time was set up, one or two people came to spread out the chips. Somebody, remember if somebody had a bobcat? It was before me. So I see both sides of it. But I see specifically how much, and I say the Ware Pickleball Club. I know Denise comes. I know she's not alone, as she just specifically said, one of the members' children's very close to Lineberry. So I see a club emailing me, taking pictures, contacting, sending me quotes. Like, this is concrete stuff. This is, we have numbers, this is how often, this is stuff, and I am more than willing to look at that from anybody. 100%, via email, via phone, anything. They don't have to be here in person. So I was just using her as an example. I do email just fine. But it's, so I see the tennis courts for me, and I don't play tennis. I don't even use the courts. I've probably walked on them the 2 times with us this year. That's it. But I see that that's something,
And that goes back to educating the voters, because there may be a lot of people that don't even know tennis courts exist because they're hidden.
it's true. A lot of people don't know we have Lake Horace. So I don't know how other people feel about this year, if this year's CIP, what it means to them, if it's different than next year's CIP, if it's chase, how do you feel, Dave? Chase the same thing until we get it? Do one thing this year, if it fails, do another thing this, how do you feel? What do you feel about this year for CIP?
For this year for CIP, I think the tennis courts, are getting to the point of being, I wouldn't say they're beyond a nice to have. They're getting to a point of almost being critical that if we don't do something to them or get some type of maintenance, they're going to get to a point where they're not going to be playable, and you're just bring a bulldozer up and
It's gonna be like the gazebo.
Falling down?
where the gazebo where we had to go to somebody else to basically somebody else funded that whole thing. And whether we get, I don't think we're not going to get lightning to strike twice. So
Yeah.
whether we continue with that and whether we get better, the more we take it, unfortunately, it's going to go in the opposite direction. If we don't do something this year, it's going to be
It's only gonna get worse.
it's 45,000 this year. Next year, it's going to be 55 or
60, yeah.
60,000.
How do you feel about subsequent years if this fails versus if it passes?
I would think that we need to continue to educate.
I think
Voters.
this needs to be our torch.
Until it's fixed. You both,
I absolutely agree.
and you both think tennis courts this year.
Right, yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
more than anything else, it's become exactly what Dave said. I agree 100% with Dave.
So if Denise is willing to reach out to Lineberry and, I mean, I can definitely reach out to the other two companies with another email explaining from the chairman of Parks and Recs that we need a hard spoken quote, and if they,
We need an evaluation first.
an evaluation.
Well, yeah,
And maybe have all three come do an evaluation.
they won't though, that's the thing, so we have
I
one
th-
that's
I
already
th-
said no.
I can ask,
They won't come.
I can ask, and I don't know if it has to come from us or if it's coming
Does it-
from Denise,
does
if that's
it-
good enough.
Is it because we're asking them to do it for free? Is there a charge for them to come to do the evaluation? And if there's a charge, what's that fee, and is there money in the budget to do that?
I don't know when Denise reached out to those three companies, how she worded it. I don't know if she used an evaluation, if she used quote, if she used estimate. I don't know what words she used.
Yep.
Well, why don't we contact them?
Yeah, then that's fine.
And I can contact them, you know, I just need to know the numbers. I have the time that I can contact them and say, hey, look, here's what we got going on. We need,
We know that you've been contacted, we just
have
are
another.
following up.
we're following
Copy
up,
of
we got
library.
it. And I need you to come out and sit down and walk me through what,
So I can reach out to Denise for the contact information. I mean, as far as Lineberry, I don't think anybody else needs to reach out to them because Denise is specifically
She's-
reaching
she's-
out.
yeah.
But the other one I know is Vermont Recreation and it's called Vermont Recreational Resurfacing and Fencing.
I see that?
Yep, it's the second sentence. She's reached out to them, and they said, this is what we need from you. She has provided what they needed and has not heard back from them. And we can definitely try to reach out.
Well, granted, it's their busy season too.
I get that.
So,
Um,
we may not get them to come do it until fall. That's gonna be the problem, and at that point, it may be too late.
But if we, right, but is my understanding from the town administrator, if you have tried 3 times, even if that's all we're required to do. So we don't have to wait until we have 3 hard quotes.
Correct. I still think the proper step, though, is to get an evaluation first, because we don't know where we're at.
You try again to get quotes before you, because you're not committing that say if we only got it from Lineberry, we're not committing that it's gonna be Lineberry. We're just
No,
saying, okay, we
but
have a
here's the
quote.
thing, say you get a quote, they gave us a price sheet.
Yeah,
We don't know where we stand in that price sheet.
No,
We
I
can
know
determine
that.
it ourselves.
that's not what I was saying though. What I was saying is later on, after, say we get the money from taxpayers, say they voted for it and they say, yes, we're willing to do $50,000 towards tennis courts. Then when we go back to the drawing board, we don't have to go with Lineberry's. We can go back and try to get 3 quotes again. Hey, we already have the $50,000. Let's see what we can do with it.
I don't know if it works that way. I
don't
think
think it
we
works
have
that
to
way.
You
do,
have to do it with
you have
the,
to, unless Lineberry drops the ball.
voters have to
So it's just like.
not only vote the 50,000, but they have to say it is Lineberry that's gonna do it.
No. It doesn't.
That's not what I don't think you're understanding. I don't
No,
think
I don't
I'm
think it
being
has to
clear.
be you just have to get.
I don't think we can go back to the drawing board,
No.
though. I
No,
don't.
no, that's not what I
You
was
see some
saying.
of the bids
Okay.
out there that say,
Okay.
it's down almost to like the dollar because it says, I'm buying a truck, 6-wheel dump truck,
Yeah.
and it's gonna cost me.
Yeah, we kind of have to have our mind made up that we're gonna go with Lineberry if we give their final quote. I think that's,
And again, going back to the educating of
Yeah.
voters, when you go to campaign for this, if you will, this is the condition of it, it's gonna cost X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
With the scenario you posed is, it's going to cost up to this, and that's where you're gonna fail, because.
No.
I think what Lisa's saying,
Voters
if,
don't like that.
if they vote 50 grand and we find a deal for 40,
Then where's that money gonna go?
the other 10, yeah, I don't think we're allowed to unless.
It
give
can't
it
go
back
back
to
So
in.
that money
in.
goes back into the general.
So you're not
fund.
allowed to you're not allowed to save money.
So we are allowed to give a general, I have no idea how it
Yeah.
works.
It goes back into the general fund.
Yeah.
Maybe we'd be allowed to buy lights.
So is that what happens with our budget
No.
at the end of each fiscal year? Like if we have money left over in Parks and Rec budget?
Yes.
They do a spending freeze October. So we kind of need to have everything we're going to spend by October. They freeze the budget because if the highway department went over, they're going to take the money from, maybe it's promised to us, but if the highway department went over, then, so there's usually a spending freeze around October. So if we have anything that we're definite about, we need to have our ducks in a row by October for our
Let's move
budget
on from
items.
tennis courts.
Well, I just want one last thing. So Denise is gonna reach out to Lineberry
Yeah.
for a meeting to get that evaluation and an exact number.
We'll reach
And
out to
Dave's
Vermont
gonna,
Recreation.
and I'll get the other company. I'll ask. Okay.
Can I make a motion that we end now?
You don't wanna talk about anything else on the?
Because we don't have any update on Chase Park for the trees, and
Did anyone not come today?
not to my knowledge.
Well, it's something we'll wanna eventually talk about.
We don't
our-
have a number of trees, that's what I'm saying. We do need to discuss it, I just think it needs to be tabled because we don't have a,
I was looking the other week,
Should we all meet at the lake and look at the trees? It's kinda
I was
us,
looking
or?
at the trees, and you're looking, if you look up at those trees,
they're dead.
I would say that there's at least a dozen of those pine trees that need
Yeah.
to come out.
Pine
But we
trees are
need somebody
useless.
who's got the know-how to go in there and actually count those trees, is what I'm saying. So we
So
could
you want
go
the
there.
tree people to decide what needs to go? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, I think that they need to tell us what they believe needs to go.
I would
Take them
think-
all, they're making the money, they're gonna wanna take them.
I know.
Right, but I would almost say taking them. I mean, you're gonna lose
Yeah.
the shade, you're gonna lose the shade, but how much shade are
It's
you
the
rea-
beach.
How much shade are you really going to get?
What are
And-
these trees?
There's 2 trees by the gazebo, by the
Pavilion.
pavilion that gotta go. There's
There's a couple
4
that
down
are
by,
overhanging
4
the
down by the main beach that gotta go, and there's at least
Dave wants death to every pine tree, just
Yeah,
in case
I
you're
would
curious.
agree with him.
8,
Pine trees are,
8, there's at least 8 over on the small beach and around toward the boat ramp, 8 to 10 more that need to go. When you look up at them, you can see
You're like, oh, don't follow me.
they're not dead, but
they're not really offering shade, right?
Pine
The-
trees that are over by the boat ramp are definitely, the ones that are along the boat ramp are not necessarily. The ones that are down by the water where the swim lines start on the boat ramp side are definitely offering shade. And that,
It's not really a hangout
Well, they're-
swim.
it is a huge hangout swim spot. It is it definitely is. That is a huge attractive spot for people to go.
Okay, I only
And
see
it
usually
also
one or two
provides-
families there the whole time I'm
That's
there.
the first place I go.
Right, but I'm saying when I'm there and the rest of everything's packed, I
And
usually
you're
see
lucky if you can,
one or two families
because
over
the
there.
parents or grandparents from the Massachusetts and Manchester's families go there and plant themselves there and sit there and go, nope, you can't sit here because I have family coming in 3 hours. How many times it's happened to me? It is definitely an attractive area.
So are there no deciduous trees over there?
There's a couple, but they're really mostly pines.
Because once the pines go, the deciduous trees
they
will
will
just
come
open
in.
up. So.
Yeah, they will come in.
I mean, I'm not opposed to the tree person coming in and saying what's got to go and what doesn't, but are they going to look at it as a shade point of view? Are they going to look at a rotten tree point of view? Are they going to look at how much money am I going to make point of view?
I think it needs to be if it's dead and it's a hazard point of
It
view.
needs to be a safety issue.
Yeah,
it's a safety issue, yes.
Can Peter look at it?
could ask him.
There's plenty of tree companies in town.
Yeah, but I,
Peter's not really trees, right? I mean,
You
he's
need-
Power, isn't he?
no, Peter's Asplund. Isn't
Oh.
that tree? Peter Powers is Asplund tree.
Well, I don't think we can.
Joe Bell is Eversource.
Oh, okay, wrong one.
So-
I got him mixed up.
Well, he's not Eversource, but
He's not ever. Yeah,
Oh, did he leave the USA
Joe's Eversource.
lineman for Eversource?
I don't know. He's electrical
Yes,
and Joe and
yes,
Peter
okay.
is
Let me ask
limb.
Peter.
So that's how I keep them apart.
He could give an expert advice, but no quote is what you're saying.
Like,
I
that-
understand.
like, can you come in and look at it and make sure that these are the trees that we're
Nice to
looking
get
at?
an expert
Opinion.
opinion that doesn't come with a price tag.
Right, and then we
because-
can go and
Yeah.
to Bear and Dow and whatever and say,
Mm-hmm.
these are the trees that we need to have removed.
Right.
Because they're a safety issue.
Right,
We need a quote.
right. I kind of feel that way because I feel like if you go up to a tree service and go, what trees should we take down that are a safety?
Yeah,
And they're
I-
like, ching,
we should
ching,
know
need to be there.
ching, you know, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
we need to go ahead of time. But they need to be the ones that are dead.
Yeah, but we need to know ahead of time which one so that we aren't getting the wool pulled over
Well,
our eyes.
the other thing is, you know, you see these places, I know there's one over in Hillsborough, we'll cut them down for free.
Only, yeah.
But they
and-
leave the
If
stumps.
they get the wood,
Yeah,
like,
but
you
it's
can have
all-
all the wood you want.
Pine.
It's only hardwood.
Yeah,
You will never see that with pine because
Not only that, dead trees make no money, and the chip market has gone to crap right now, so
we had lots of people come to our 5 acres of land And sometimes it works that way, if you want them to like, the whole thing, but we wanted them to take a lot of trees and they still wanted $2,000.
That, and they don't clean up after themselves.
That used to, like, 20 years ago,
But
that
we've
was a
got
big deal,
expert
and you could
rakers
really.
now. We can do our own cleanup.
Oh, no, they leave limbs as big as,
It'd be great for a bonfire. Oh, yeah, that's right, no bonfire.
Yeah, no bonfires this year, but we do have 2 chainsaw people and a bunch of rakers, so we can do cleanup.
you have 3 chainsaw people, actually,
We have
my
4.
husband would be 4, he has 2 chainsaws, so it'd be 3 and 4.
Matt was very happy. He went down and he cleaned up all the mess.
I didn't tell Ryan that you didn't invite him to a chainsaw party.
It was
Just in
Saturday
case you're
morning.
All right.
It was
Okay.
invite
On to
only.
Chase Park.
So we're waiting, okay, so you're gonna reach out to Peter, and we're
Yeah.
still waiting for Benji to give us an opinion.
I reached out to Peter's secretary.
Okay, we know who that is. Okay,
Chase Park end of season.
end of season.
And I don't think we can move on to future business because
The only thing I wanted to talk about, and if it's not even on future business, was trunk or treat. Did you get a chance to reach out, Tina?
I have not reached out
Okay.
to him yet. Is she on Facebook?
Yes.
Yes.
I kept meaning to.
What else? Pumpkin hunting. Did we pass all the money for pumpkin hunting for the buying the pumpkins and the candy, or just the pumpkins?
no, we tabled the Halloween discussion till September.
Okay, and we'll have enough time, right? We'll pull that off. Okay.
Sam's Club has Halloween candy out already.
Yeah.
We already have the handle.
Okay.
No, it's
They
not
do the
talking
club.
about it.
Tabled that discussion for a reason. We spent almost 45
We
minutes talking
we
about
talk
it.
a lot about candy.
We love
okay.
Halloween.
We do. Chase, we had to convince Lisa that we were giving out candy. No, just
I wanted to give out Parks and Rec
soccer
kind of
balls.
thing.
Everybody gets soccer balls. Baseballs, they're smaller, right?
Oh, they hurt people.
That's true.
Ping pong balls.
There we go.
So Chase Park end of season, they usually have a last day of the season where they specifically get together, pull in the swim lines,
Yep.
put away the picnic tables, all that. So we wanted to vote on throwing them a shindig to say thanks.
Yes, but I will clarify that this is a surprise. So, and I'm sure that that's not a good reason to go into
No
non-public.
employees,
You cannot go on and on.
no employees
So,
are to know
I
about
will
this.
say, yeah.
So
it's
turn
not-
off
it's
the
an-
Comcast
yeah, so
channel if
everybody
you're a Park
shush.
employee. We
Yeah.
do still have to make it public what we're doing.
I know that, but I will say, I'm just saying ahead of time that all of our.
You're just saying to
members
one
will-
particular person who's not allowed to tell his wife. I understand.
Yeah, and I won't tell my daughter.
Okay. So this is more of a your brainchild.
Well, it's because we do an end of season. As long as we're doing our cleanup day,
Yep.
pulling in the
Yep.
lines,
The swim lines, picnic tables.
it would be nice to. They've
We have to say
really
a dollar
have-
amount and what it's for.
They really have done an excellent job. So, my thought process is this: we are not spending the money on field day this year.
Or the seniors, I don't think.
The seniors also, but really.
And no
really
field day. No field day. That's
Did we
correct.
reach out to the seniors to find out if they were doing
Not-
anything?
No, so
Okay.
but that's a separate. I was field. Seniors,
You're right, I'm
seniors
sorry.
are not my thing. Field day.
Field day.
Field day. Because the seniors are, by the way, doing stuff. But so
They didn't ask us for money, is
No.
what I meant to say. 'Cause they usually have like a get together at Dimitri's
It
or
got
something like that.
so at any rate, we're not spending money on field,
Field
day,
day,
which
no
was
field
poorly
day.
attended.
It was. All our kids went.
Yeah. So
It was poorly advertised.
I
too. We
really
didn't
do
want to advertise.
feel that it should. Well, no, because I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. I felt like people just didn't show up.
It was a
I've
hot day.
never even heard of field day.
Right at the gazebo field. And last year wasn't the first year we'd done it. We also used to do Winterfest with a skate rink and
I've never seen that put up one year.
Have you seen the pumpkin hunting in the past? Yeah, we
Yeah,
actually had a
it was
good
really-
turnout. We had a good 75 to 100 people
Again, I
turn out
have
for
kids,
that.
so that a lot of those are probably more kid-centric where I'm not gonna pay attention
Well,
to this.
Yeah.
we don't discriminate. Anybody can pumpkin hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. It was
So-
families
I'm
with
usually
kids.
busy, so.
Yeah. So, at any rate, we're not spending money on field day, so I thought, and even if we were, I think it would be a really good thing for our kids.
They worked really
They worked so
And there has been a
hard.
lot of compliments on how beautiful
Yeah.
the park is looking this year.
Yeah, we're getting like the neighbors have come by to talk about how.
Susan Coe had said it to me in the.
Yeah, Suzanne Cowie did tell you, that she said it was sparkling, right? Here, but the neighbors have come by to say that they've
want-
never seen anybody working so hard.
We
and
want the
having-
employees to know that we appreciate them and they did awesome. We want them to come back next year and do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're certainly not making money to show that.
So we have to
But-
figure out how much we want to spend, what we're gonna buy.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to do a pizza party?
Is it families? Is it just employees? How far are we expanding it money-wise, number of people, pizza slices? Who normally comes on the day to pull the ropes and the picnic? Is it just all the employees, just employees? How does it normally,
Just the employees.
just the employees
I
in the
think if we
past?
just,
And I don't
I
think we
would
can
just
do
keep-
families with COVID.
yeah, I think
Good
if we,
point. I don't think about that. I actually got right behind somebody in the checkout line for a minute. I'm like, oh my God, I almost put groceries next to this person.
How much did you spend last year on this?
we didn't.
We
We didn't do one before.
Oh, you haven't?
No,
No,
this would
we
be
did
our
field
first.
day last year and we probably spent, oh my God, almost $1,000 with
Yeah.
all the prizes. I can look it up.
Yeah.
I think if we.
So we would like to do,
So how many
either lunch
employees?
or dinner.
We have 18, we had 18 employees. We have 15,
We have 14.
14
And
employees.
us. We also had some volunteers.
So, I mean,
so-
like, you just have to have a number like 20, 25
No,
people, so you know how
and
many
then the
slices of
lifeguard
pizza?
too. Yeah.
Hmm?
And the lifeguard too.
Is
So
he an employee?
he's an employee. I know. So I didn't count him.
15
as
employees.
15 employees and
us.
the
Board
board.
members.
And then, I mean,
So it would
volunteers
be-
are fine too. It's whatever,
Yeah,
we have
I'd
to
like
pick
to
a
do-
number.
Yeah, I know.
We just need a
Like-
number for the budget so we can do that and then
Like to
we
do
can do the details
some
later.
food, some prizes, and T-shirts. We had come up with a T-shirt plan.
I liked the t-shirt plan. Were we gonna actually tie-dye them there or were we gonna
We were
just
not gonna
have something said on them?
No, just
I
set on them.
survived or
Yeah, so I survived Chase Park 2020
something like that.
on them.
Trying to figure out how much we spent last year on field day. When was it?
We spent a lot of money because we spent $500 on stuff at least, and then on top of that there was
Yeah, I
that
voted.
rented
I voted T-shirts
thing.
because I think we were thinking little trinket prizes, and those just go in the garbage.
Yeah, no, not like that. It was more of a, everybody gets a T-shirt, and we have their T-shirt sizes, so that would be a surprise. And
I say do barbecue.
Are you
Burgers-
cooking?
Burgers, dogs, and chips. Quick and simple.
I think we're thinking pizzas. Open the box.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Think
I
it's
like
expensive,
what
though.
he's thinking.
I think it's expensive.
Well,
Burgers,
yeah.
dogs.
I was gonna say people have talked to Dimitri's before and like gotten a break cut, but that's usually like the Boy
I
Scouts
think
and
it's going to
stuff, so that's
depend
different.
on what we do.
I don't
'cause
mind
love
the-
the idea of a barbecue,
Sounds
but
good
if
to
it's
me. I love
pouring down
barbecues.
rain or the weather's weird,
So,
we could either do it up here if we have a problem. We could do it up here if it's pouring down rain, or we can do it under the pavilion.
I do it
So
as a
maybe
pavilion.
I'd like to say that we would stay flexible on the food.
Field day. We
I'd rather just do pizza. It's easy.
waters and
There's
prizes.
no cleanup. You're not cooking raw food.
Yeah.
We had $300 for the 10 kids. And
That was.
we
They
ended
did
up
the
not
big
doing that.
$500 for water and prizes
That's what I show.
because
And then there was that other rented.
we paid
The laser
for
tag.
the
Tag.
laser tag. How much was that? That was the
That was a
whole.
lot of money.
That was a lot.
I don't
of
know how
money.
much it was, but that's a lot of money. I used to work for them.
I want to think it was like $800.
Yeah,
or something.
that sounds about right.
So we spent like $1,500.
Well, the 300.
That was
we-
no. Well, the 300 was.
It
That
was,
was
for
the bake sale.
It was for the bake sale part of it, which was good, right? So bake
We-
sale for 300.
we-
$500.
paid
$500.
food.
We did a motion for
right.
supplies and prizes
Okay.
was $500 is what I'm showing.
Motion to spend. Okay. But how much was laser tag? Did we not even talk about it? I don't have any. I know we did it.
She did not. I don't believe that she said how much it was going to be.
We must have approved it. It's funny though, because we were gonna have her do the big,
The bouncer balls and
and
then
that was a no-go.
Yeah.
But they would do the laser tag. We must not have voted on it. Oh, yeah, last year we said $1,000 for the skate park.
Yeah, I saw that.
Benji, and we never spent it. Benji picked up what was salvageable and it's stored somewhere.
It's at Inison. It's in the watershed, in the,
Yep.
Yeah, we've got, I don't have anything about laser tag. Aha! No, it just says what they do. And then it's on to pumpkins.
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember it
So
now.
do we wanna entertain a motion for $500 for pizza and drinks?
Food and, yeah.
Food and drinks, and we can discuss what we're actually going to,
Yeah, do you wanna do $300 for drinks and $200 for prizes and things like that?
I would just leave it a flat 500 and just, to be used for,
Is that enough for t-shirts though too, or would you do another line item for t-shirts?
I think, I just
don't know how
think,
much
I think we
t-shirts
should do,
cost.
we spent a lot more money last year on a very similar amount of participants. And
Well, we're not just gonna say, here's $1,000, do whatever you want. What's it for?
$700 for food, drink, t-shirts,
You think that's enough?
and everything that we probably won't spend on. I mean, I'm hoping
I just don't know how much t-shirts go for.
Yeah.
$10 each or?
they're gonna be $10 each.
Okay. So it's
maybe we need a little
150,
more.
it's $150 for t-shirts. You could say 200 to be safe.
Yeah.
And then 500 for food and drinks, and then you could, you could look at $100. I don't know what you mean by prizes, so I don't know if $100.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Gotta have a plan, lady. Just kidding.
Please. Last year, nobody asked what the prizes were for field day.
Fine. I was just thinking of how much you want to
Give
spend.
me a
on-
break.
I'm thinking of how much. How much you want to spend on
I,
prizes.
you know that I'm not gonna do anything without asking.
No, I know that's not my point. I just
so
I'm
200
thinking-
for t-shirts, 500 for food and drink?
and $100 for prizes. So I have
Oh, it's
$800 total.
$800,
That's what I
okay.
have.
Yeah.
I make a motion to have to spend $800 for the end of season Chase Park party for food, drinks, prizes, and T-shirts for our employees and a few volunteers.
Who seconds?
I'll second it, 'cause
I don't think you can.
He's not an employee.
Oh, okay.
family.
I was just thinking that would be
So-
better if.
I will second.
Okay. Okay.
All
I
in,
was just-
Technically, there should be 2 abstentions.
that's fine.
Okay.
Well,
Then okay.
any further discussion?
I don't benefit financially from. So
Your
I
daughter
don't
getting
need
a
to- I
t-shirt?
don't need to abstain. My household does not benefit financially from Chase Park because it's not my spouse working there. So I just vote yes. That's my personal.
Any further
vote.
discussion?
Any further discussion?
All in
Not for
favor?
me. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, one abstention.
Darn it. Your wife gets a T-shirt.
You don't benefit financially either because I've seen what you're doing.
Wait a minute. This whole
No.
benefit financial. It's a party. Nobody benefits
He
financially.
doesn't. Do you know what they
benefit
spend on the
categorically.
stuff down there?
Isn't that what you say for calories?
Preston's
intake?
entire salary is spent back on stuff for that
Are you
place.
listening to me?
Drives me nuts.
Are you listening to me? Nobody benefits financially from a party unless you're giving away money.
That's true.
But you're
Or
right.
prizes.
You're well, I guess if the prizes have a monetary value. But you're right. Out of anybody at the park, Kristen donates. Kristen, the Lundeen family donates more than anybody else. I will 100% agree with that. So we could all personally chip in for gift certificates or something.
No.
So our future business, we're
Yeah.
gonna leave it as future business, because we,
Yes.
I added on 10-year plan, ranking with priority, mission statement, park meetings, park.
Can you make sure during the tree part of that you just state that somebody's windshield was broken and there was damage done to the exterior of their vehicle, and that's why we're bringing up the trees at Century Park?
Park visits.
And there were no injuries, right?
There were no injuries. A vehicle.
car damage, no physical injuries, no bodily injury.
Does somebody need, is John gonna talk, or does somebody else need to go and talk? Do you wanna talk about it? You don't wanna talk about
About what?
it?
I have nothing to talk about.
No, the trees at the park. Everything's
that.
gonna be
That's
brought
it.
to the
I
board
just-
of the selectmen?
No, we need to,
I already sent pictures.
so I've contacted Naomi, who's reached out to Benji,
Yeah.
and requested that he go down and take a look at the trees. it's going to be brought up at the next selectman meeting, I believe, at least if not, I'm going to, about addressing the tree situation.
So you do want to bring it up, okay, that's
Bring
great.
Car
it up at the
damage,
select-
no bodily injury. That it?
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, because it's a safety issue, it needs to be addressed right away.
I just didn't know if, okay, I don't have to go, that's all I want to
Nope,
know.
Somebody was
not for
almost
that.
hit.
If you wanna go for something else, you're more than welcome to.
I'm okay with my meetings being
All right.
3 a month, that's fine with me.
Yeah, right.
You gonna adjourn?
I think, yeah, unless somebody else feels that future business needs to be mentioned right now.
Nope.
Well, did we do anything about no wake buoys? Was Benji
Nope.
supposed to get us a
I have not,
contact number?
Benji has been on vacation, he just got back
He just-
yesterday.
Yeah, he just came back.
But
to
he's
work
supposed to
today.
be the person that eventually will get, okay. I mean, they're not for this season anyway. That's it. I'm all set if everybody else is all set.
So we are adjourning at,
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 8:49 PM.
I'll second it.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, folks.
Thank you for putting up with our, we did under 2